I know you like my style. You like how I break it down. I know you like my style. You like how I break it down. I know you like my style. You like how I break it down.
Hello YouTube and welcome to my second ever video. Today I'm going to be doing a book review for you, but surprise surprise, it's not a physical book, it's an e-Kindle free book that I found when I was just randomly browsing free books, and it's called Letters by a Cat, and it's by H.H. by H.Jackson. It is a book, as the author says, that is published by her mistress for the benefit of all cats and the amusement of little children. And it really is a very amusing book. It was written in 1879, so the writing style is unique. It's technically a classic, but it's not a classic. It's a really easy read. What it is it's a story, or rather what you're supposed to believe is a true copy of the letters written by a mother to her daughter pretending she's the cat. So the daughter's gone away and she loves her cat, who she calls Pussy, which I absolutely love because I like hearing the word pussy used in its correct context. Can you hear mine in the background? She's being very naughty pussy today. So what it is a bunch of letters written by the author's mother to the little girl from the cat. So the cat sneaks these letters into the mother's letters and tells the little girl everything she's been up to while she's been away. And it's not your stereotypically like what you'd find in a modern kids book, where the language is very simple and the cat's doing very simple things and has a rather human opinion on things. The cat is very eloquent, which really shows the difference in literacy levels for the upper middle class from a couple of centuries ago to now. I think if you live in Australia, you know what I'm talking about. Literacy levels are just dropping and dropping and dropping in upper classes as well as the lower classes. So, I mean, obviously people in the lower classes can read, but can they express themselves clearly and succinctly? Can they express themselves artistically, poetically? Generally not. Very simple colloquial terminology is used in books targeted at these classes. So, and before we go, oh, there's no class system in Australia, can we just not have any hate comments on that? I'm just using this to kind of get you to understand the type of language you're going to be encountering in the book. It's easy to read, but it's full of yummy language. This language provides some very interesting and insightful observations as to the character of the humans surrounding her and the nature of the household. You can get it free on your Kindle. That's where I got it. I found it while I was just browsing for free books. I love my Kindle because I can get a lot of the classics for free and read them in book, even read them in bed without having to drag the book off my bookshelf. So I can be like, oh, I really want to read that, but I don't want to get out of bed because it's cold. So I can just just reach over and grab my Kindle and read in bed. I have a hot Milo, in case you're wondering what's in my hand. And there's the cat. She's trying to get behind the monitor, which is, hi, Ellie. Hey, boys. And she's like, what is that? That's my notepad. Say hi. Oi, look. Ellie. Oh, hello. So this is apt. I have a cat in my video about letters from a cat. It's an absolutely fun book to read, even if you're an adult, especially if you're an adult. I think if I had kids around the age of 10 to 12, I might read it to them if they aren't jaded by today's media culture already. I reckon they love it. You should read them this book. You can, as I said, you can get it for free in the Kindle bookstore. If you don't have a Kindle, I'm sure you could find it online somewhere for free. Usually the Kindle classics there should be a copy of it online, because usually the Kindle classics that are free have been transcribed by a group of volunteers. So if there's a copy on Kindle for free, there's probably a website out there, if you type it into Google, where you can find it for free. Oh, she's got her claws in me. I'll pop her down. So what I'll do now is I'll just read you a few of my favourite moments, and that'll give you an idea as to whether or not you want to read it. I really think it's a good light read. It took me about 40 minutes, maybe an hour to read it, and had a lot of fun with it. And then I read it again a couple of days later. So, okay, so this is the first. It starts off with an introduction by the little girl describing her cat and her experiences of her cat, and whether or not she says, I'll never be quite sure if my pussy wrote these letters herself, but this is how much I loved my pussy. So anyway, this is the first letter. Oh, boy. This is the first letter. It says, "My dear Helen, that is what your mother calls you. I know, for I jumped up on a writing table just now and looked while she was out of the room, and I'm sure I have as much right to call you so as she has. For if you were my own little kitty and looked just like me, I could not love you any more than I do now." I went into the garden and lay down under the damask rose bush and caught flies. There is a kind of fly around that bush which I like better than all others. You ought to see that there is a very great difference between my catching flies and your doing it. I have noticed that you never eat them, and I have wondered that when you were always so kind to me, you could be so cruel as to kill poor flies for nothing. I have often wished that I could speak to you about it, but now that your dear mother has taught me to print, I shall be able to say a great many things to you which I have often been unhappy about, because I could not make you understand in person. I am entirely discouraged about learning to speak the English language, and I do not think anyone takes too much trouble to learn ours. So we cats are confined entirely to learn yours, which prevents our knowing so much as we might, and it is very lonely too, in a place where there are so few cats. Well, the book is adorable. It's heart-wrenchingly engaging as you hear about the trials and tribulations that poor puss gets into. So I would suggest you read it. Just trust me on this one. So let me grab it for you.
I know you like my style. You like how I break it down. I know you like my style. You like how I break it down. Wanna get rich, I show you how. Wanna get rich, I show you how. On your market, set, let's go.